The news coming out of India about the protests by farmers. The situation is concerning. And let me remind you, Canada will always be there to defend the right of peaceful protest. What? Canada will always be there to defend the right of peaceful protest.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Bharata First. You're watching FRP Explains. I'm frankrausanpereira. Since you're here, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon and share the video as well so that more people get to know about Bharata First. Canada has declared a state of public emergency, and this is something that is rarely done in the Northern American nation. Clearly, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is worried about the truckers' protest and hence has decided to go ahead with this move. Just a few weeks ago, Justin Trudeau went into hiding into an undisclosed location because it was said that there was a threat to his life from the protesting truckers, and hence he was whisked away and taken away to an undisclosed location. Now, as of Monday, a state of public emergency invoking the Emergencies Act was put in place. The last time something like this happened was way back in October 1970. 52 years ago, this was done when Justin Trudeau's father was the Prime Minister of Canada. So the last time we saw emergency was during Trudeau Senior's time, and now Trudeau Junior also following in the footsteps of Senior Trudeau and ensuring that the Emergencies Act has been invoked. What this means is that the authorities can go out and make arrests at will, freeze bank accounts and get a free hand as to dealing with the protesters. The protests of course broke out a few weeks ago when truckers opposed mandatory vaccination drive to cross the border into the United States. This was brought in as a healthcare measure to tackle the pandemic. Now, of course, the protests have become much more than that and have grown across the country and have decided that the protesters are demanding that not just the mandatory vaccine rule is removed, but also other healthcare procedures that are in place need to be removed is what they are suggesting. And the protests have now led to the protesters are demanding for the ouster of Justin Trudeau, and this only 5 months after he was re-elected in 2021. Now, interestingly, it is the same Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, who was preaching to India about democracy when the farmers' protests was taking place here in India. He said that the farmers' demand should be met. What the government is doing is wrong. We are not allowing democracy to function and so on and so forth. He went on and on, preaching and giving a lecture to India about what we should be doing and how the farmers are in the right. And when a similar situation came up in his own country, in Canada, he immediately invoked the Emergencies Act. What does this say about Justin Trudeau? He seems to be or portrays himself to be a very liberal Prime Minister, someone who listens to everyone, someone who wants the best for the nation and someone who wants to take everyone along. And he also puts himself across as the champion of the democratic cause.
The news coming out of India about the protests by farmers. The situation is concerning, and we're all very worried about family and friends. I know that's the reality for many of you. Let me remind you, Canada will always be there to defend the right of peaceful protest. We believe in the importance of dialogue, and that's why we've reached out through multiple means directly to the Indian authorities to highlight our concerns. This is a moment for all of us to pull together. Because of COVID and because of everything.
But what does he do? He goes ahead and invokes the Emergencies Act, something that has rarely been done. This is only the second time in Canada's history during peacetime that something like this has actually happened. last time it happened was 52 years ago, and even then it was Trudeau Sr. who went ahead and invoked it. And why it was invoked was for different circumstances altogether. In Quebec, there was a British attaché who was kidnapped along with the minister of Quebec, and the minister was even found strangled to death in the trunk of his car, and that's when the emergency was invoked, and the situation was brought under control. This time around, of course, the authorities have said that they have arrested 11 people who were in possession of a cache of arms. The protesters were then arrested by the police and said that there are going to be massive fines of up to 100,000 Canadian dollars imposed on those who are protesting, and strict jail term as well will be enforced on them. So this is the kind of atmosphere, this is the kind of answer that Justin Trudeau has come in just months after preaching to India and others about how they should ensure that they live by the true values of democracy. What happens to the true values of democracy when it comes to your doorstep and when you have to deal with it? Clearly, you don't seem to be knowing what's happening, and clearly you are not the champion of the democratic cause, and hence you need to stop preaching to countries like India. And India knows what to do, India knows how to deal with the situation, and India knows how to put its own citizens first, and we can take very good care of ourselves. There is no need for everybody else to preach to us. Even more recently, we saw due to the hijab controversy, someone like a Malala Yousafzai coming and telling Indians what to do. Paul Pogba also jumped on the bandwagon, and he's a footballer, has nothing to do with anything that we have here in India, but still he has so much to say about the hijab controversy. I don't know why all of these people come and talk about India. India, it seems like has become a soft target for all these international figures to pick on. But the India of today is very different from the India of a few decades ago. We can take on any problems that we have domestically, and we can take on challenges at the international level as well. On the diplomatic front, we've been doing excellently well. So we are not going to take some of these comments and some of these actions lying down, and we need to send out a message to Justin Trudeau as well to put his money where his mouth is at and not preach aimlessly. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of FRP Explains. If you like the video, please share the content and let more people know about Bharata First. And before I go, let me inform you about the Bharata First Knowledge Center, a learning experience like none other which will transform the way you learn. Go to kc.bharatafirst.com for more details. You can also download the Bharata First app to get some innovative and interactive projects that we have going on there. That's it from me. See you again next time.